But this is a rare opportunity to see some land maintenance happening as we speak. We've just come back on the track, and this grass fire has been lit only in the last 15 to 20 minutes. And it's just basically to clear the undergrowth so that you reduce the risk of bushfires. And they do this all the time throughout the park and throughout everywhere in Australia, really. And you can see that the fire, just as it's about to burn itself out, it catches on a new bit of grass, it flares up, it dies down, moves along to the next bit of grass, and they're perfectly happy to just leave this to its own devices, and just the fire just goes through and burns away and dies out when it's done, and there's no more fuel left. Absolutely fascinating. The tall trees are completely unaffected. And the green grass is mostly unaffected as well. It's really just the dry, yellow, dead grass that catches, burns, and then the fire moves on. So this is land management in action. I'm really glad I got to see that.
This is one of my most ambitious projects. This trip will see us travelling 13,000 kilometres across Australia to some of the most remote and amazing places. Welcome to Forex Adventures, showcasing the very best of touring and overlanding in Australia. Welcome to day number 3, exploring the amazing Kakadu National Park. We have just left Sandy Billabong, heading down the track, when all of a sudden I hear a familiar noise.
So, before we go any further, I thought I'd address the issue of my squeaking suspension. Now, I have here a bottle of lithium grease. So, time to sort this out. Okay. It's really annoying having this squeaking suspension issue. Okay, let's go sort it out. It's a bit hard to film that, but I need to squirt that lithium grease on either side on both front wheels. Okay, so hopefully that will now sort out the suspension.
For the moment, that seems to have done the trick. We continue slowly making our way back up the track towards the Kakadu Highway. Kakadu National Park has 2 main sealed roads through the park, the Kakadu Highway, which is what we're travelling on now, and the Arnhem Highway, which is the top road on this map. Kakadu has so many things to see. Scattered all throughout the park are billabongs, which even now in the dry season are still full of water and contain a huge amount of bird life.
This is the Anbambang Billabong Walk. Sign saying beware of crocs and beware of buffalo.
Having never seen buffalo in the wild before, we are both very keen to spot some.
It's quite pretty walk.
It's beautiful.
Nice bit of bushland that we're walking through. This is the middle of the day, so it's quite hot. It's 32 degrees. but there's frequent shade, so it's not too bad. This is a short 250-metre walk to a billabong. All flat ground this time, so it's very easy. I can see the billabong up ahead through the trees, and it is actually really peaceful. There's no one around at the moment. Really peaceful, just the birds and the crickets. Now, these long straight trees here, this is what the Aboriginal people make spears from. They cut them to size, strip away the bark, put them over the fire, try and straighten them, and then they bind some sort of sharp object to the tip. In the ancient times it used to be a bit of sharp rock. Now it's a bit of sharp wire that they file down to a point. But it's really cool being able to recognise these things out here. Well, this is the view of the billabong. This is unspoilt by nature. Feels like they're looking at us, thinking the same thing. It's not quite the same. I was hoping to see a beautiful, tranquil scene of natural beauty. It's quite possible that there are buffalo in this lagoon. You can certainly see evidence around the lagoon of buffaloes. You can see hoof marks around the place. The ground is very well trodden, so they're definitely around. It's the middle of the day. I don't think that they would venture out of the water unless they had a good reason to do so. I hope they're not hungry. Any luck, you might catch a fish. Even though it's 32 degrees, it's warm, but it doesn't feel overly hot. Mind you, in the wet season, when it's summertime here, it will be stinking hot. It will be so humid, but right now in the middle of winter, it's beautiful.
Well, now it's time to find a nice spot for lunch, and it's not long before we find one.
Oh, where else is here? Okay, well, I'll find a shady spot. Okay, so we just stopped off for lunch at a place called Burdulba Campground. I believe it's a day use area with some walk-in camping only, so you can't use RVs and four-wheel drives, the rooftop tents, etc. You have to carry your tent in, but it is really beautiful. There is no one else here, so it's nice and tranquil and quiet. There's a long drop behind me, which was clean and well maintained. It's very lovely in there. So there's paper, it's all well and good. So I really enjoyed that. Susie, how was your
Addie.
long drop experience?
Well, how was your experience?
Mine was good.
Clean and perfect?
Yes.
Wow, when I opened my lid, I found 2 gorgeous little frogs sitting on the seat. Then when you look down, there's more frogs in there.
Oh my goodness.
So frogs galore, so be careful not to kill them because they're good ones.
I would show you, but I don't know whether you want to look down a toilet, down a long drop. So you're probably eating dinner as you're watching this, so I'll spare you the details. We are just about to go on a croc cruise. This is the Yellow Water Croc Cruise. It's 4:30 and it's a 2-hour cruise. We're going to be going up and down the river, hoping to spot a croc or 10. So I've done this before many years ago. This should be fantastic. Definitely guaranteed croc sightings.
What's that?
That's a croc. That is indeed a croc. There you go. We don't even need to go on the cruise now.
The Croc Cruise is one of the most amazing wildlife spotting experiences in Kakadu. This is a must-do.
We're just waiting for the cruise to kick off, and looking down off the jetty at the mangroves and swampland around here, you can see the same sort of upturned mud that we saw at the last few billabongs that we visited.
The trampled mud is caused by water buffalo. In the dry season, this river reduces in size to just a trickling stream, and herds of water buffalo come in and trample the ground. The cruise finally gets underway, and our tour guide is a wealth of information.
We'll get a good look at him, we'll get some photos, because the other boats are going to be piling out here shortly and they're going to know that he's here and want to look as well. But we got him first. So, we have 2 crocodilian species in Kakadu, the saltwater or estuarine crocodile, which is what this fella is. Hooray! That's my remote control back here working. So sitting up in the banks like this is what they typically do, getting a bit of sunshine. So having his back up in the sun like that, those scoots or osteoderms, absorbing sunlight, that's giving him energy. He'll be able to head off and feed for the night. Pretty soon he'll be warmed up and he'll just slither back into the water and he'll wander off and go hunting. Now his diet could be varied. This animal is capable of taking a large pig, small buffalo, and if he does so, that could be it for him for a couple of months. He definitely eats ducks. Yeah, you wouldn't think so with all of them hanging there, but they definitely eat ducks. Those ducks are pretty cluey. We see crocodiles in the water, the ducks are walking straight up to them. They can be within a metre of them. And you think, oh, here we go. This will be the last crocodile you tease. But mostly they know if a crocodile up on a bank like that, he is not going anywhere fast. He's probably getting a bit warm sitting out in the sun, so sitting in the water with some water on the belly, keep them cool. Their other tactic is to sit with their mouth open. That allows a bit of a breeze to flow through the mouth, over the gums. It can help keep the head a little bit cooler. They don't want to, their brain's located right at the top of the skull, and it can overheat very easily, so by opening the mouth, they cool down. And that's how easily they can disappear. They just sink below the surface. There's no ripple, there's no splash. In fact, no sign that they were even there. He's probably only sitting a couple of inches below the water. So this is coming out onto the South Alligator River. Transformation of Kakadu from season to season is unbelievable. In the wet season, about a third of it goes underwater. So that's a huge area.
There's a crocodile over there.
Is there? Oh, yeah. There is also another crocodile at about 11 o'clock, just out the back of that water in front of us. You just see his back poking up out at the top. We've never interacted with them. We don't interfere with them. And most importantly, we don't feed them. And that's important, as animals that are getting fed become reliant on people, and that's when you start to get those negative interactions.
That's very cool. All the way over there.
Ooh, he's checking out the buffet up here as he goes past. Give them the right amount of space. We always give them an out as well. He's always got somewhere to go. There's an awful lot of birds in Kakadu. There's about 280 species of bird. Just on the bank on the left-hand side is a Australasian darter, sometimes called a snake neck darter. The wings being outstretched like that, they're just drying them out. He wants to dive underwater using that spear-like beak. He spears onto a fish, will return to the surface and flick it off his beak. But because he's not waterproof, he's only got a small oil gland down the back. He needs to come back up to the surface and sit with his wings out like that. The banks, nests, washed off banks. You can see how many birds nest out on these waters. It's not just the chicana, the magpie goose. They're being called sometimes the vanity bird, because it looks like they're staring at their own reflection in the water. When you see them under the mangroves, they'll be hunched forward, just staring intently at the water, but they're actually fishing. They've got quite a long, sharp bill. They'll strike down, grab a fish, they take it up onto the bank. They'll toss it around a bit till they can get it head first. They swallow them down head first. They've even been seen putting their beaks into the water and vibrating them. Just gentle vibrations backwards and forwards, but it's enough to attract fish. Lure them in. The whistling kite can what we call feed on the wing. So they can eat, catch prey in flight, consume it without having to go and land somewhere. That's a very special talent. Not many birds can do that. But this is a purely freshwater environment. But there's saltwater crocodiles. The saltwater crocodile could go its whole life and never experience salt water. So it's a very common misconception. Yeah, that tree out on the right-hand side, that lone paperbark tree, has a very large crocodile at the base of it.
That one wants a fly to go in its mouth. So it's opening its mouth.
Yeah, it's going to catch flies, is
It's one of the egret species out on the right-hand side at 3 o'clock. And that one's a great egret. But a great egret has an exceptionally long neck and that little kink in it. There's 4 different types of egret. One of them is an introduced one, the cattle egret. Then there's basically the happy meals of egrets, the small, medium and large. So the jabiru or black-necked stork. They're the only stork species. They grow about 1.5 meters tall. Their wingspan is 3 meters. They're massive. Something spooked the whistling ducks, but not the magpie geese. And that suggests that it's been up in these waters for quite a while. There's a lot of tannins coming out of the native trees here, and the tannins will stain the skin. And being in the murky water, that adds to it. There's also other crocodiles that are a bit lighter in colour. We saw a couple of them earlier. They're probably newcomers to the area. They've come from downstream. We're going to head back downstream. We'll go past the billabong, see what the other boats have seen. Then we'll be back up into what's been affectionately dubbed the duck pond. We'll come back up at sunset.
Well, good morning everyone. We had a pretty good night last night at the camp. It was a bit more crowded than the previous night, but still pretty quiet. Everyone quietened down by about 9 o'clock or so. We cooked an amazing dinner. Steak and veggies, steak and roast vegetables. Oh, so better. It's so good. It was better than any restaurant. So if you're coming to the top end, come to Artie's restaurant. I'll cook you a nice steak. So this is our last full day in Kakadu. So we've topped up with water and we're going to fill up the car tonight, so ready for the next part of our journey tomorrow. We've found the best ice cream ever. This is Magnum. It's called Double Sun Lover, coconut flavour with a double dip of mango sauce and white chocolate.
So good.
This is so delicious. So we discovered this yesterday, and I know it's only 9 a.m. but it's 33 degrees here, so that's an excuse to eat chocolate.
Cold chocolate ice cream.
Oh my god. Holy hell, that's good.
Especially if you like mango.
Yeah.
And coconut.
Yeah, if you don't like mango and coconut, this is not for you. So, the agenda for today, we are going to go to a rock art site that I know of that is absolutely spectacular. It's called... what's it called? Mental blank. I'm still sleepy. It's called... I've completely forgotten what it's called. This is highly professional, I know. It is called... that's right. It's called Nulangi Rocks. and I've been there once before, and the art is really vivid and spectacular, and I can't wait to see that. So that's what we're doing first today. We've just arrived at Nulangi Rocks. This is one of the most popular of the rock art sites, and therefore it is packed full of people. There's tour buses and just throngs of people. So I'll try and make the best of the situation and try and get whatever footage I can for you. There's several rock art sites to see, and it's about a 2-hour round trip walk. We came here the other day and it was mid-afternoon, 33 degrees, stinking hot, so we thought we'll come back another day when it's cooler in the morning, and we had grand plans of doing this at 7 a.m. today. At the moment, kids, what's the time? 10:30? About 10:30 or 11. But hey, that's how things worked out. It's quite a beautiful walk heading up to the rock art sites. How are you doing, Susie?
I'm doing good.
You doing good?
Yes.
I love the yellow grass. So the main track has all these side walking tracks coming off it at various locations, and you basically head up and look at the artwork along the way. This is the first of many of the art sites. I can see some markings in a cave ahead. What we have here is it's kind of like a cave. There's a massive big boulder above us at an angle, and it kind of forms a cave underneath, and it was used as a shelter. You can see remnants of staining by fire underneath, so they obviously sheltered under here, cooked under here. And just behind me you can see the first of the rock art. This is absolutely spectacular. Another shelter over there. This is quite a tranquil place. There's a lot of vines and creepers, massive boulders, and I can see how the Aboriginal people could find a spiritual connection to this place. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Even if there were no rock art, it would still be amazing to wander through here.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Awesome.
Absolutely fantastic.
Beautiful.
There's all these pandanus palms around us, gum trees, vines, creepers, massive boulders, and the boulders are interesting as well. You can see bits of quartz,
It's embedded into this rock, so it's sedimentary rock. And up there looks like it's sandstone. Yeah, fantastic place. Here's another art site coming up. So the artwork is mainly used as a means of education and passing knowledge on to the younger generation. And the other thing I really like about some of the artwork in this region is they have this thing called X-ray art, which is basically they draw the shape of an animal and then they actually show the skeleton and the innards of the animal in the artwork, which is really unique. The artwork you see on this panel behind me is relatively recent. It's only about 1,000 years old. The artwork generally is used to teach the younger generation how to hunt and how to find bush tucker. Now, even though I've got filming permission for this particular region, there's still a sign that says we're not allowed to photograph certain bits of artwork. So what I'm looking at right now, I can't show you. You'll have to come here and have a look for yourself.
But trust me, it is amazing. It will change your life. You have to see it.
So we're just climbing up to a lookout, and I'm told by some passers-by that the lookout is pretty spectacular. There's more artwork up under the cliff there. It's quite a steep climb. One of the things that I've learned is there's multiple layers of artwork in some places, and even people who've studied this can't tell how many layers of artwork there are. They just, when they fade, they just get redrawn over the top, and different artwork gets redrawn. So it's quite fascinating. So what we're seeing up ahead is 3 cliffs, and that represents the home of the Lightning Man, and that is a very dangerous place for the Aboriginal people, and if this area is disturbed, big trouble will result.
This is the Lightning Man. The Lightning Man is an important creation ancestor who is responsible for the violent lightning storms that occur every tropical summer. The band running from the Lightning Man's left ankle to his hands and head and down to his right ankle represent the lightning he creates. He uses the axes on his head, elbows and feet to split the dark clouds and make the lightning and thunder. It is for this reason that the Lightning Man strikes such fear into the indigenous people. This is where he lives and it shouldn't be disturbed.
a long walk, and often quite steep. Climbing up really steep ascents and steep descents, but it's all worth it in the end because you get to see some amazing things. Well, I'm back at the car park, and that was absolutely spectacular. I think one of the highlights for me was the Lightning Man. That artwork is so vibrant, and the story behind it is really cool. So that was fantastic. It's such a serene place to walk through. When the groups of tourists die down and there's a bit of gap between the different groups going through there, it is peaceful and quiet and serene, and it is a lovely, lovely spot. The temperature is a bit cooler in there as well. It's just a beautiful place. It's well worth it. So that's Nurlangi Rocks.
If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more before they're released on YouTube, you can. Go to patreon.com/forexadventures and sign up for a membership. Your support means the world to us. See you in the next video.